Wait for the right moment. Wait for things to slow down. Wait until we have more time. But time won't wait. Neither should you. Hey everyone, welcome to the Chrono Collective. I am your host and owner of the Chrono Collective, Jesse, and welcome to my garage. As you can see behind me, we have a few cars in my collection today, and I want to talk to you a little bit about why the channel. This is just an about us kind of thing so that you know what to expect, and hopefully you'll want to join us along this journey. For me, I've been a lifelong enthusiast of cars and a racing fan going many years back, with my earliest experiences being watching Ayrton Senna race in F1 for McLaren, and shortly after that, after his death, I became a Michael Schumacher fan. In the middle of all of that, though, I started becoming very passionate about road cars. Obviously, I was getting closer to driving. I was not yet 16, but I started paying attention to road cars. Was a consumer of Road and Track. I made my parents subscribe me to the magazine back then. And I used to get another magazine from Europe that I had to go to Barnes & Noble to pick up called Car Magazine. Some of you may remember that, some of you may not. But ultimately, I just loved all things gasoline and tires and motors. And ultimately, discovered the first sort of car that I wanted to live with and that I was in love with and thought I could afford. The car that was on my wall as a kid was a Ferrari Testarossa 512 TR. But obviously that was a car that was well outside of any 12 or 13 or 14-year-old's reality back then. And I sort of attached myself to the Mark IV Toyota Supra when I was about 14 years old. That's when I became really, really passionate about that. My first experience with that car was in a video game on the 3DO called Need for Speed, sponsored by Road and Track. I learned about it through the Road and Track magazine. My friend had a 3DO. Sort of talked him into getting the game, and the rest would be history. Fast forward a few years, when I was 19 years old, I had the opportunity to purchase my first Mark IV Toyota Supra, and I did, and that is the car that I bought, right there, sitting back there. Sorry, sitting back there. I'll get better at this, I promise. That is my 1993 left-hand drive auto turbo Mark IV Supra. I have an extensive list of mods on that car now, notwithstanding I've converted it to a Granis T56 transmission, so it is now a 6-speed manual car, amongst many other things. And we will talk about that car in great detail, as well as if you want to go back, there are some older videos on this channel of the project while I was building it. So I built that car myself with the help of my father and a few other friends, and it's been a fantastic experience. So as my tastes have changed and grown, and my success has established itself, I sought more cars, which makes sense. I mean, it's like a disease. So, so then I have my 2019 McLaren 570S built by MSO. It's a 1 of 6, part of a special collection called Racing Through the Ages. I will be explaining that in a future video, talking all about what makes that car special and talking a little bit about the McLaren racing heritage that is attached to that car. Pretty cool stuff. And then I have my 2001 Ferrari 360 Spider gated manual car, factory gated manual car. This is the newest addition to the collection, and we'll have a video coming up very, very soon on this car. So stay tuned to learn a little bit about what's going on with the Ferrari and what it's like. Now, I think that covers basically why I love doing this and why, but I forgot something that's kind of critical there. And that is that this channel is not just about cars. It's also about watches. So not just any watches, but I like to call them mechanical watches. That's what the industry calls them. There are watches that are built by high-end, handmade Swiss companies, and they are the literal definition of precision engineering and mechanical artwork. And as you can tell, I love things all mechanical. I love things that look beautiful. Watches fit that bill perfectly, and my passion for watches is very deep and goes very far. So this is what you can kind of expect over the coming weeks and months here on the channel is an opportunity to learn more about watches, learn more about cars, really just talking about my journey. I am a professional watch dealer. Well, I actually like to call myself a watch trader, not a dealer. Dealers have stores. I don't do stores. So at the end of the day, I can help you buy, sell, and trade luxury watches. And I'm going to document that journey for you as well and what it's like to be a watch trader. I think that one thing that's really critical that I hope lands home on this is that I don't care about status. So the watches that I own, the cars I own, they're not about status. They're not about flash. They're not about clout or chasing clout. They're, for me, about the experience of driving them. And each one of these cars in my garage today, as well as each of the watches that I currently own and am trading, all represent something very specific to me and to the process. So just know that this isn't about status. I don't care about status at all. In fact, it doesn't matter to me one little bit. So I hope you'll understand that as we go forward. You're not going to see me doing things that's going to chase clicks and likes. I'm going to build the channel exactly the way that I want to represent the experience of owning these cars and owning the watches that I have. Okay, so let's talk about just a little bit about the cars. The Supra, obviously my childhood love. It has been with me through good times and bad times. I used to drag race this car every weekend. I have done tons and tons of passes with it. It was a very different setup back then. But today, this car now represents the vision of what I thought this car should be when I was 19 years old. I have recreated that boyhood dream, and I've had the opportunity to enjoy it now for a while. And obviously, I'm going to talk about the ownership of these cars and the maintenance that it requires, because I think a lot of people assume the 2J is extremely reliable. And we're not going to talk about it in a negative way at all. I'm just going to talk to you about the fact that this is a almost 30-year-old car. Actually, it is over 30 years old now. And that, with that comes issues that you're going to have to deal with at some point in time. Same thing holds true for the Ferrari. The 2001 is now 25 years old. And with aging cars comes age problems, or the requirement for mechanical pieces of art to be taken care of, restored, managed. We're going to go through all of that. And obviously the McLaren's newer, 2019. So not as much on the ownership journey, but I want to talk about why I chose a McLaren as my first supercar. Because I think a lot of people sleep on the brand, mainly because it's a newer brand, and newer brands don't sit well in luxury space because legacy and heritage matter. But I would argue that McLaren has more racing heritage than many of the other brands on the planet today. And that goes back to Bruce McLaren and his commitment and passion to engineering and racing. And so we'll talk about that in greater detail on the channel as we go along. Finally today, I think we're seeing analog experiences like manual cars, of course, but like hydraulic assisted steering, like hydraulic braking. I think we're watching those experiences dry up in the state of technology, where people find it more fascinating to wear an Apple Watch and spend $1,000 to put an Apple Watch on their wrist than to put a finely tuned mechanical piece of artwork like a mechanical watch on their wrist. That they're losing out on some of the greatest experiences that life has to offer. The beauty that Swiss engineering and foreign engineering and American engineering, for that matter, can put together. I think we have landed in a state in society where we care so much about utility that we're now okay with sterility. And I think it's important that we show a world where you can have amazing experiences. You don't need to chase all the horsepower in the world. And you just need to be able to go out and enjoy it and have it fill your bucket and not be chasing likes on the internet, things like that. And so if you feel the same way, that whether it's your 67 Camaro, 69 Camaro, or your 66 Chevelle, these are experiences. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my father's 66 Corvette somewhere down the road here. And those are the kinds of things that I'm hoping that I can kind of share the beauty of these cars and these watches that were engineered by people that actually gave a crap. And I'm not saying the companies today don't give a crap, but it sure feels like we're living in a stage where companies today are only interested in trying to capture the most clout they can possibly get. They're in a horsepower war. I mean, looking at the new ZR1, and I'm going to talk to you about why I think some of those cars are cool. I'm not sure if I'd ever add one to my collection. I'll never say never. I mean, it's possible that a car could grow on me for various reasons, but I do think that we have watched the quality of newer cars and watches, for that matter, sort of dwindle off. And we're now at a stage where, new is not always better. And so I do hope you'll join me for this journey. And I do hope that you'll spend some time with me. And I do hope that you understand that time won't wait, and you shouldn't either. So get out there and enjoy your life, find those experiences, and don't worry about what the rest of the world thinks. Until next time, I'm Jesse. We'll see you soon.